Welcome to my channel. Today, I will tell you about the most satisfying revenge ever. Just imagine this. You're standing there in front of your entire family, feeling humiliated. Your brother is beside you, snickering, pointing out your mistakes, saying that you're going to fail. Everyone around you believes him, even you, but here's the twist. Fast forward just a couple of years, and that very same brother is now standing in your office, looking up to you and waiting for you to give him instructions. How does that sound? Well, if you want to hear more, keep watching. Welcome back to my channel. Here, we bring you the craziest, most insane true stories from all over the internet. Some are scary, some are sad, and some are so uplifting that they'll leave you smiling. So before we start, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our awesome new stories. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the story. In my family, respect was earned through what you achieved and how you made others feel. Our parents always praised my older brother, Mark, for his perfection. He was the perfect son, the perfect student, the perfect employee. They called him the golden child. I was their black sheep. My grades weren't good enough. I did dumb things to rebel against them, and I believed in my dreams while they wanted me to study and get a stable government job. I think they just wanted a carbon copy of Mark, but I was different. When I turned 18, I went to college far away. I found great friends who supported my dreams and encouraged me to start a business. But I knew my parents wouldn't support me until I proved them wrong. So I kept studying during the day and worked as a waiter at night. After 2 years, I got my bachelor's degree and was ready to start my journey. I felt prepared to take on the world. I had saved up money, learned everything I could about the market, and was eager to see my idea come to life. I went to my parents and told them about my plan. Their reaction was disappointing. My dad was angry and said, "Why aren't you planning to work for me? Or why aren't you applying for a good government job like your brother?" My mom tried to calm him down, but she couldn't hide her disappointment. "We want you to have a safe future, not take risks." She turned to Mark and said, "Mark, why don't you talk to him? You can teach him how to manage the store someday." Mark looked at me, then at my parents. "I think he should do that. It's a good family business. You don't need to go out there and struggle." I was so disappointed in all of them. I just walked out of the house and headed straight to my apartment. I spent the next year focused on my goal. I learned as much as possible about the market, researched trends, and used my savings to launch my first product. It wasn't easy. I had days when I felt like giving up, but I pushed through. I knew my family didn't believe in me, so I wanted to prove them wrong. Finally, the day came when I could launch my website. I put all my energy into marketing it and waited for orders to come in. But they didn't. For months, my website didn't get any traffic. It was frustrating because I had put so much effort into it. I started taking on extra shifts at work to make ends meet. Then one day, I had a breakthrough. I realized that I had made a mistake by focusing on the wrong market. I quickly pivoted and started targeting a smaller group of customers who were interested in my product. This time, my marketing efforts paid off. Slowly, I started getting orders and my business began to grow, but it was hard. I was working day and night to fulfill orders, manage my inventory, and market my products. There were days when I felt like I was drowning, but I knew that if I gave up, my family would be right. I had to prove them wrong. It was worth it. In less than 2 years, my business was making 6 figures a month. I couldn't believe it. All the hard work, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, it was finally paying off. But it wasn't easy to keep up. The pressure was intense and I was exhausted. I needed a break. That's when I decided to attend a business conference. I hoped to learn something new and maybe meet potential partners. I didn't expect what happened next. At the conference, I met several experienced entrepreneurs who shared their stories and gave advice. It was helpful, but I was still feeling down. That's when I saw a familiar face in the crowd. Mark, he was working at the conference as a coordinator, making sure everything ran smoothly. We caught each other's eyes and he approached me with a forced smile. "Wow, didn't expect to see you here," he said awkwardly. "Me neither," I replied coldly. We talked for a bit about the conference and our businesses. I could tell he was uncomfortable. I didn't blame him. It was awkward to meet your older brother who had always looked down on you, now seeing you succeed. He left soon after and I went back to work. The conference was fruitful overall. I learned a lot and made useful contacts, but the meeting with Mark left a bitter taste in my mouth. When I returned home, I couldn't stop thinking about him. He was the one who had always doubted me, who had always put me down, and now I was more successful than him. It filled me with a sense of satisfaction, but also a strange emptiness. As the weeks passed, I found myself constantly thinking about Mark. I knew he struggled with our family business, but seeing him unhappy made me uneasy. One day, I decided to visit him. I wanted to offer him a job in my company. I figured it would be a good opportunity for him to learn and grow. Plus, it would give me a chance to connect with him on a professional level. I drove to the city where he worked and stopped by the store. I found him behind the counter, helping customers. "Mark," I said softly. He turned around and his face lit up with surprise. "Oh, hey, what brings you here?" he asked, trying to hide his shock. I smiled and said, "I have something that could change your life." He looked puzzled and I continued, "I'm offering you a job at my company. It's a chance for you to learn new skills, grow professionally, and earn better." I could see a mix of emotions cross his face: surprise, disbelief, envy, but mostly fear. "What do you want from me?" he asked cautiously. I explained the job responsibilities and the benefits. I emphasized the learning opportunities and the chance for advancement. "You have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work out, you can always return to your old job," I said, hoping to ease his worries. Mark was silent for a moment. I knew he was weighing his options, thinking about his future. Finally, he spoke, his voice shaky. I need time to think." I understood. It was a big decision. "Of course, take as long as you need," I said. As I drove home, I couldn't help but wonder about Mark's reaction. What was he thinking? Was he considering my offer or regretting his decision to come with me? I tried to shake off these thoughts, focusing on my work. But secretly, I hoped he would accept my offer. A few days later, I received a call from Mark. His voice was firm when he said, "I've decided to join your company." I was overjoyed. "Mark, I'm thrilled. When can you start?" "Tomorrow, if that's all right," he replied. I smiled. "It's perfect. I'll see you in the morning." I hung up, excitement bubbling inside me. Mark was joining me. The next day, I met Mark at the office. He looked nervous. "Ready to learn?" I asked with a smile. "As ready as I'll ever be," he said. I introduced him to the team and explained his tasks. Over the next few weeks, Mark adapted well. He was diligent, eager to learn, and quick to understand. He became an integral part of the team. However, there was tension between us. He had once belittled me, and now he had to follow my instructions. It wasn't easy for him. I could see it in his interactions with the team. Sometimes he hesitated, unsure of how to respond or act. But he never complained. He just worked hard. One day, I pulled Mark aside. I noticed he seemed distant and unfocused. "Is everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, fine," he mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Are you sure? You seem distracted." I pressed. He sighed and admitted, "I'm still getting used to this." "What do you mean?" I asked. "This situation, you being my boss, working for you," he said. "It's unusual for me." I understood. "I know it's not easy, Mark, but you're doing well. The team appreciates you." He looked at me, gratitude in his eyes. "Thanks. Your name?" "I appreciate the opportunity," he said. But sometimes it's tough. I know, but you're doing great, I reassured him. Don't worry, just focus on your work. He nodded, a grateful smile on his face. Despite the occasional struggles, Mark and I maintained a professional relationship. He proved to be a valuable asset to the company. Watching him grow and develop both personally and professionally filled me with pride. But there was something else. Something unexpected was happening. We had started as boss and employee, but our relationship had evolved into something more. We began having lunch breaks together, talking not just about work, but also about life, our dreams, our fears. It was like we were catching up on lost time. I discovered a side of Mark I hadn't seen before. He was funny, intelligent, and surprisingly vulnerable. He confided in me about his struggles with our family business and his feelings of inadequacy. I listened, offering support and advice. As the months passed, our bond deepened. We started going on hikes together, exploring new restaurants, and attending industry events. It was during one of these events that I realized I had developed feelings for Mark. I couldn't believe it. Here I was, attracted to my employee, someone who had once looked down on me. I felt conflicted, torn between my feelings for Mark and my responsibilities towards my company and our employees. I knew that if our relationship became public, it could cause problems. One evening, after a particularly intense day at work, Mark and I found ourselves alone in the office. We were discussing a project when suddenly there was a power cut. The room was plunged into darkness. "Oh, come on," Mark said, frustrated. As I reached for my phone to check the time, I felt a hand on mine. I turned to see Mark looking at me, his face inches from mine. Before I could react, he leaned in and kissed me. It was a soft, tentative kiss, but it sent shivers down my spine. I froze, shocked by the sudden turn of events. I couldn't believe what had just happened. In the following weeks, Mark and I tried to keep our relationship a secret, but it was hard. Our offices were close, and we often found ourselves stealing glances at each other. The attraction was undeniable, but so was the complexity of our situation. I was torn. On one hand, I had feelings for Mark. He was kind, smart, and funny. He had shown me a side of himself that I had never seen before, a vulnerable, sensitive man beneath the confident, cocky exterior. He had become more than just my employee. He was my friend, my confidant, my rock. On the other hand, I was worried about what people would say. Mark and I worked in the same company. Our relationship could cause gossip and complications. Plus, Mark's reaction to me starting the business could still be a raw wound. The guilt of hiding our relationship and the constant fear of being caught added stress to my already busy life. I felt drained, anxious, and confused. I started questioning whether pursuing a relationship with Mark was worth the complications. Despite the turmoil within me, I couldn't deny the chemistry between me and Mark. We had a connection that went beyond our professional relationship. Mark was someone I truly cared about. He was supportive, understanding, and always knew how to make me laugh. With him, I felt seen, valued, and cherished. He brought out the best in me. Torn between my feelings for Mark and the complexities of our situation, I sought advice from a trusted friend outside the company. She listened patiently to my dilemma, offering support and understanding. "You're in a tough spot," she said, "but it's your decision. Only you can decide what's best for you and your company." Her words echoed in my mind. I realized that I couldn't keep hiding my feelings for Mark. It was time to make a decision. I called Mark into my office. I had carefully chosen those words, weighing each one before I spoke. "Mark, I know this might be difficult to hear, but I believe it's important for us to be open and honest with each other. I value our friendship and the trust we've built, and I want to ensure that continues to be a priority between us." He nodded, his eyes searching mine for answers. "I've been struggling with my feelings for you. The chemistry between us is undeniable, but our current situation makes it complicated. I care about you deeply, Mark, and I don't want to jeopardize our relationship." He interrupted, his voice thick with emotion. "I understand. I've been struggling too. I'm sorry about that night, about how I treated you. You're an amazing person and a successful entrepreneur. I admire you." My heart went out to him. I could see the pain and regret in his eyes. "I know you're a good person, Mark, and I believe our relationship could work. But we need to think about our company, our employees. It's not fair to them to have rumors spreading about our relationship." He nodded slowly, absorbing my words. "You're right. I'm sorry. I should have been more supportive from the start. I was afraid, confused. Seeing you succeed where I struggled, it made me insecure, jealous." I reached out, touching his arm gently. "It's okay, Mark. I understand. But we can't keep this up. It's not sustainable for either of us." He looked away, his voice hoarse. "What do you suggest?" I hesitated, torn between my feelings for him and the practicalities of our situation. "I think we need to create some distance.